Welcome. It is Friday, March 30th, and I am in Cleveland, Ohio. And the big question is could full retirement age hit 74? Could it hit anything other than what we have now, which is 67? Well, that is the big question. And a lot of folks I know are not thinking about retirement age right now because you're probably been hearing, or maybe you're more concerned with what's going on with Social Security, the fact that Social Security is still going to be taxed. Maybe you're considering or concerned about Medicaid because, yeah, Medicaid cuts are coming. Yeah, we've been hearing it all. We know what's going on. So, a lot of us are not thinking about what's going on with retirement age. Is it going to be increased? Well, it's certainly not going to be decreased. We know that for sure. But what brought this to mind today, at least for me, and I think for a lot of folks out there, you're going to be thinking about this soon enough. Well, what brought this to mind was what's going on in Denmark. Denmark made it official. They raised their retirement age to 70 with projections that it could climb to 74. And Denmark is not alone. Denmark's not alone. They're just a little bit ahead of us at this point anyway. But across Europe, retirement age, yeah, it's rising fast. And it is going to continue to rise across the world. And we see it happening. It's happening for a very good reason. Although I know a lot of folks out there don't want to see it happen. And I got to put myself or count myself in that group. But you can bet that it is going to climb. And there is still a lot of talk. It's percolating, and there's a lot of talk that's percolating in Congress, in the halls of Congress, especially in the Republican Party, about raising the retirement age. And we're going to see where that goes. But let me let one of our elected officials just tell you what he's been thinking.
What kind of tweaks would you make to Social Security benefits and Medicare benefits? Be more specific.
Sure. So there's actually some bills out there that have small tweaks that I know that moderate Democrats already bought into. In other words, if everybody who's close, you don't touch. Okay, you've bought into the system. You have a promise. We're not going to touch that. But incrementally over time, you extend the age for people who are young right now.
Young meaning what? Define that.
That's why we're going to have to debate. What is young? Is it 40? Is it 30? I don't know. But somebody who's not close to Social Security, at least a decade away, who can adjust their time schedule. That helps because right now we've been living longer, but we still start Social Security at the same age. But people are working longer too.
Yeah, there's no doubt we're working longer, and most of us, if we are working longer, most of us are not doing it just because we want to get into work and we want to keep ourselves busy. Although there are a lot of folks out there, a lot of folks who tell me, yeah, that's exactly why they're still working. But many people are working because they have no choice. So raising the retirement age to whatever age it will end up being at is certainly a concern for folks who would like to retire, especially those folks who are working in jobs which are more physically demanding. But but what will it be raised to? And the congressman here, Congressman McCormick, did not say what he thought it would be raised to, but I thought he said something which was very interesting. He said he would want to give it about 10 years, give folks 10 years time to save up money, maybe to work more, to be able to invest or whatever so that they can build up their retirement nest egg. But that remains to be seen. For those of you who don't know, I am Lou Reyes here at Over 50 TV, and what we do here on our channel here is we help you earn more so you can retire smarter. And today what I'm going to do is really just talk about the potential in what I see is going to be the increase in retirement age. And as soon as all this stuff with the great big beautiful bill, as soon as this thing is passed and some of the the immigration issues are resolved as much as they can be, I know for sure, and you can bet a Sunday dollar, Sunday minute, my mom used to say. In a Sunday minute, they're going to be raising the retirement age. So, yeah. So, let's just get back to Denmark for just a really quick second, because I think this is a really good segue into what I want to talk about. In Denmark, yes, Denmark raised the official retirement age for citizens who were born in 1971 or later. And it's part of a law. It's actually part of a law that just is tied into increased life expectancy. And this is exactly what's happening here. Because of increased life expectancy, our elected officials, they want to raise the retirement age, and we see that. And in Denmark, what they're projecting is the retirement age has been increased, but they're saying it's quite possible that it will be raised to 74, the age of 74 by 2060. So it's a long time, but it will be increased, and steadily over time it'll be increased. And a lot of us, and as I get folks contacting me, well, why would we want to increase, or do they want to increase it? Well, they want to increase the retirement age because governments around the world are struggling to fund the retirement benefits. And the retirement benefits were established decades ago when folks weren't living as long. And yes, it's all makes perfect sense. But could raising the retirement age to 70 here in the US or higher, is that likely to happen? Well, a budget that was released by the Republican Study Committee, which includes 170 GOP lawmakers, suggests, and I'm going to put this in air quotes, modest adjustments to the retirement age for future retirees. And this is their way of saying that they want to increase it because of life expectancy. But there's another reason. And Mark Alford, who's a Republican congressman, said it, and I was glad he did. He just says, hey, we just want to help cut federal government costs. So increasing retirement age for Mr. Alford, Mr. Mark Alford, is the big reason is because, hey, we got to reduce the government budget. And these proposals are really part of broader discussions when it comes to Social Security reform. And they're controversial, though. As you can imagine, they're controversial because critics are arguing that they could reduce lifetime benefits and disproportionately impact younger workers. And I'm going to let Representative John Larson, I'm going to let him tell you exactly what he thinks.
Every year you raise the age, that's a 7% cut in benefits. So proposals by the Republican Study Committee to raise to age 70, for all you viewers and listeners out there to C-SPAN, that would mean a 21% cut in your benefit. And as I said, that benefit for 40% of Americans, this is the only thing that they have, is their Social Security pension. And that's why this Congress has got to take action and do something constructive for all Social Security recipients.
And I totally agree. This government has to do something constructive for all Social Security recipients. But, and there's always a but, isn't there? There's always a but. It's like it doesn't get done. Our Congress, our government doesn't do anything. And I blame a lot of it on ourselves because we're not pushing them hard enough to get them to do something. But what's at stake is the Social Security Trust Fund, which is projected to run dry by 2033. And I know I've said on this channel, and I hear it all the time, it's the changes. It's either 2033, 2034, 2035. And does it really matter? Let's just say it's 2033, because if the trust fund, if it does run dry, benefits could automatically be cut by 21%. Nobody wants to see that happen. Now, I'm going to tell you that my belief is that this is going to happen. There will be some cuts in Social Security, whether it's cuts in terms of raising, because it is a cut, as the congressman just pointed out, raising retirement age. If that's a cut, if they raise retirement age. But other than that, it would be just 21% cut in our benefits come 2033, which is coming, 8 years from now, 8 years from now. So yeah, it could happen. But as the Wall Street Journal points out, and I think they did it succinctly, they say nobody wants this to happen, but nobody wants to take the heat for proposing real reform. And meanwhile, the U.S., we just keep barreling down the road. We're driving down the road towards a cliff, and we're pretending that we don't notice that we're going towards a cliff, but we're going there. But at the same time, raising retirement age, yeah, I understand it is a global trend. It's not just Denmark. There's countries all over the world, governments all over the world are doing the same. And what they're projecting, but according to OECD, which is one of the European agencies, what they're saying is that, and they monitor trends, I should just point that out. They're saying that countries are going to hit an average retirement ages of 67 to 70 by 2060. And from what I've seen in the studies and the research I've seen, yeah, these increases are happening, increases in retirement age. And it's not an easy topic. And I understand that. And many workers who are working in physically demanding jobs feel it's unfair. It's unfair to ask a construction worker or a nurse to keep going, to keep working until 70. It's unfair. Their bodies can't hold up. I know my body at my age, I could not be doing construction work. And I got a feeling there's a lot of folks out there who are watching this video who are in the same boat. But it's not fair. But raising that retirement age may not be the solution, but it's going to happen. And it's going to happen within the next, my guess would be within the next 2 years, next 2 to 3 years, certainly before Trump leaves office. And I understand he may not want to tackle this right now, but my guess is he would. He would tackle it because saving Social Security would be a feather in his cap. Saving Social Security by raising retirement age, no, that wouldn't be the feather, but making it whole, making the trust whole would be the feather. But here's the bigger point that I want to make out. The Danes, at least they're having this conversation. The Danish, you got to give them credit. They're at least having the conversation about addressing their retirement funds. They're not ignoring the numbers. They're making hard choices, and they're making the hard choices to avoid a crisis later on. And the question, I think, for all of us is, should the United States follow Denmark's lead? Should we raise the retirement age, or should we keep ignoring the warnings? And I believe it will happen. And I understand that this topic, yeah, it does hit home for many of us, whether we're nearing retirement or already here, or just worried about what's ahead, or worried about what the future is, or worried about what's going to happen to our children. Because like many of you out there, I have children who are in their 30s and one who's 40. And I'm concerned about their retirement. I'm sure many of you are too if you have children. You have to be. Of course, we've got to take care of Social Security. It's important. So should the U.S. raise its retirement age like Denmark, or is there a better way? Well, I'd like to hear from you. So go ahead and just drop a comment to me. I do read all the comments. I get to them as fast as I can. Some take me a week or longer. But it's important for all of us to be on top of this issue. But when I read about Denmark raising their retirement age to 70 with the potential going to 76 immediately, it drew me right back to this, because like a lot of you out there, I was pretty much absorbed with what's going on right now with Social Security, with Medicare, Medicaid, those three important programs. But there's another one that's really going to be climbing to the top. So let me know what you're thinking. I'd love to hear it. Like I said, I read all your comments. Also, consider subscribing to Over 50 TV if you are so inclined. I've also have in the description box of this video, I have a link to my free email. I just sent out an email. I give you the updates as they happen. So there's a link in the description box for that. And you can check that out for yourself. Got some other links down there that you could find, maybe some ways that you could learn how or find to make some extra cash for yourself. All right. That's all I got for you. Thanks for watching. And again, let's all stay on top of it, because it's just, to me, it's about the most important thing we can be doing right now. We just need to hear the straight talk. We need to learn about what's happened to our money. We need to learn about what's happened to our future. We need to learn and should always know about what's happening with our retirement. That's all I got for you. I'm going to sign off. And as I always say here, my friends, have a great day, everybody.